Hello and thanks for tuning in. I'm Holly Shields, welcoming you all to another edition of Kalkine TV's Executive Corner Expert Talks. Today we're narrowing in on one highly dynamic digital world, the sector, and one company as well that's proven success in navigating it. Rather, Inventive helps businesses that want to better understand and communicate with their customers, and it helps them to market their company online. So it's very crucial there. And joining us today to share his insights is founder and director, Ben Kinnaird. Welcome to the show, Ben. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you, Holly. Lovely to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you on. First and foremost, what would you say are the main ingredients for creating a happier customer base, effective referrals, and optimum business prospects?
Well, we all like to be loved, right, as customers? So I think it's really important to create a happy customer base by spending time with your customers if you can. Help them with their problems. I mean, that's what I do as a marketing consultant. I use, the way I do that is using a webinar, one-to-one, a bit like this on Zoom, or social media, whatever works for you in a way of communicating with your customers. And then I think once you're communicating with them regularly, you've just got to be professional. You've got to deliver on time and if possible, try and over-deliver, try and under-promise what you're going to do. For example, if we're building a website, we try and under-promise a little bit and then give them more than they expect. And then hopefully our customers will do the selling for us, I think the best way we get customers, and I think it works for a lot of businesses, is that the customers do the selling for you, because the best leads are referrals. So that's the way I think about it, really, in terms of making a good, happy customer base.
Right. I think you're definitely on the money there. Word of mouth is definitely a big thing, and it sounds like that works really well for you, especially with your site design and as you mentioned, that strategy of not promising too much, but maybe just under promising a little bit and then delivering phenomenal results, I assume.
Well, usually we do try.
Well, that is great to hear. And, speaking on the algorithm aspect, that Google, in fact, keeps changing its policy for searches and appearances, which obviously can be tricky for businesses to stay on top of it all. So how, in your view, how can they use this to their advantage, I should say, and fetch optimum traction?
Well, SEO, search engine optimization, is a bit of a game. And there's different levels you can play that game at. You can be someone who's an expert and you are looking at who's doing what websites are working. You can experiment, you can really treat it in a scientific way. But for most people, I don't think you need to worry about the changes that Google makes all the time. Unless you're an expert and you're a professional helping other people, I think don't worry about that. Take the stress out of it. And maybe think about why Google makes all these changes. Because all Google wants to do is provide the best answers to people's questions. That's their game. If they can answer the questions, they can deliver more ads and they make more money. That's what they want to do. So if we think about Google in that way, we want to think about creating content, websites, news articles that will help people. So if we're focusing on answering questions, and giving lots of detail to those questions and having video on there, images, lists, and putting lots of rich content to it, then that's what Google wants, because that's what delivers results for its customers. So if you think about it like that, you don't need to worry about too many things to do with the algorithm change. I'd leave that to the experts, read blog posts and find out what they're doing. But I think if you can deliver good content that answers people's questions, that's what you really want. And a little tip, something extra I'd say to that is video is awesome for that. So if you can think about creating a helpful YouTube channel or a series of blog articles with videos that are attached to them, I think that's the best way forward. I think also, if you can add your personality into it to showcase who you are, even if you're selling a product, just actually maybe the business owner or some of the lead designers and developers can come and talk and showcase their expertise. Not only will you get found more easily, but when people find you, they actually see a real person rather than some of these animated videos that people have. So
absolutely.
I think it's really important to think about content. Don't forget keywords. Often people are searching for things online, they're typing in a particular phrase. So that's got to be included. But apart from that, think about answering the question and do it really well.
That's great. I think that's a really interesting approach as well. Obviously, businesses can't be concerned with the science, even if perhaps they're able to, but it's, it is rather complex. But what they can do, as you mentioned, is answer those questions. And I think that video suggestion you gave is a great tip as well. That's definitely something that I'm sure most business owners can get on top of.
Yeah, and I think actually what you guys are doing at Kalkine, I think that's, in terms of getting new people seeing your brand and seeing what you're doing and bringing people to your business, it's perfect. So you're on the money there.
Well, we do try. But thanks for that great advice there. Now, I understand as well that you hold a weekly marketing club, which is awesome. What's your key objective with this?
Well, it's interesting. I always wanted to start a club. In fact, I'll take you a step back. I love podcasts. I love listening to podcasts. I love getting information from podcasts. I love the feeling that you're joining in on a conversation that two or more people are having. I've always loved that. So I've always wanted to start a podcast, and we did for a time. But what I really wanted is to start, I had lots of conversations with my customers all the time. And I wanted to try and bring some of the conversations I had with them in the one-to-one coaching sessions. I wanted to share that with other people, but in a way that I found easy to do. Because, often I'm talking to customers and I'm sharing insightful bits of advice or useful tips or cool tools that I found. And I just needed a way of getting that out there. So I kind of combined my love of podcasts with the idea of having a regular club where I could share some of what I'm already talking about with customers anyway. And you know what? It's a good way to document things, because I think that we can come up with a lot of useful ideas and they just get lost all the time. So it's really useful if you can record a video, it's a good way of documenting that. And then when I come across people and they need help, I can just share it with them. So that's where the idea came from. And then I said, well, let's just do it. I'm going to start. So 3 years ago, we started creating monthly videos to just share out with my customers. And I love it. I love doing it. It was something really good to do. And as I said, we started monthly for the last 3 years. All sorts of topics: SEO, video production, e-commerce, sales funnels. It was great. And you know what? It really pushed me to learn, but it also shared a lot of information with our customers. And it really added value to what we're already doing. So we've got a lot of hosting customers, marketing customers, and I was able to add this additional feed of information that they could look at regularly. But it was working so well, we decided to go weekly with it, because we had people wanting to guest on there. Customers wanted to come on and talk about some of their marketing challenges that worked really well, or maybe they had some fails that were worth sharing with other people so they didn't fall into the same traps. So we started doing it weekly. And I think despite the amount of work we have for web development and marketing consultancy, it actually makes our job easier, because we have a huge pool of information to learn from and share. And I think customers are really seeming to enjoy that. And I'm not having to repeat myself too much, which is always good.
Right. So it's ideal.
I think it works really well. It makes our marketing system better. It's something not many other people have. And going back to what I said before, it makes our clients happier. I think they seem to be happier with it. So they're more likely to refer me. So having this constant communication with clients in a way that I can manage and the way that they benefit from, I think really works. And it's something I advocate for a lot of our clients anyway. So that's where the club came from.
That sounds terrific, I've got to say, and very informative. I can imagine it. It sounds as well like your customer base has sort of become a community of sorts for you.
Yeah, that's right. And I look forward to seeing them every Friday at 10 o'clock. We have our session. Some come on early, we have a little informal chat, then we start recording. I get professional, we deliver slides, or we have guests on, and then we turn it off afterwards. And it's that connection, just going back to what I said at the beginning, that connection that you can build up with customers. So it's not just over email all the time where it's faceless. You're actually having a personal connection. Works really well, particularly when my clients are all over the UK. So it's very difficult to actually see them in person. So yeah, it's really nice.
Right. I can imagine that's the case. And that's where that digital meeting comes in handy, I suppose.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Are you at all planning on expanding that customer base beyond the UK?
We'd love to. I think for me, it's about, there's some legal things to manage that we've got to move into. We do have a few clients in Europe, but not many. I don't feel we've expanded into the UK enough. I think that the key next step for us would be to expand the club, because at the moment it's just customers. That's who uses it. What I'd love to do is share that beyond our customers, so that people are actually buying into the club specifically for what it is, for that community. So Absolutely. Maybe that's something that would work worldwide.
Right, that'll be good to see later on, I suppose, and down the pipeline there. And as well, I wanted to ask you about the marketing funnel as we know it and how it's transformed over the years. What innovations do you think we can expect down the line?
Well, marketing is quite a complicated area. I mean, we talked about search engine optimization, and that's a whole niche in itself. And marketing encompasses so many different ways of reaching and communicating with clients. And it's both easier and more complex than ever before with the amount of tools and systems that are out there. There's a great tool I use, actually, just something that's what people might find interesting, is Answer the Public. So, I was talking about creating useful advice and content for SEO. Well, answerthepublic.com allows you to type in a key phrase. Like if you're an accountant, for example, you might type bookkeeping, and it gives you loads of questions that people are asking on Google, which is really useful. And it just goes to show the power that marketing has nowadays in terms of collecting data and then filtering it down into a useful tool. I think also, in terms of a key change to the marketing funnel, content automation is becoming much more commonplace, really. There's so many tools that can help you schedule posts, maybe even create new social posts and create copy and bring images together to post out automatically for you. There's even SEO tools that are able to generate these like optimized text snippets to make your pages super optimized against the competition. It almost feels a bit like cheating. I think that I like the good old days where someone would sit and write web copy or sit and write something. Actually, there's a lot of tools that automatically generate it. It's not perfect yet, but it's certainly showing how the marketing funnel is really changing, and the innovations that people are using are becoming more advanced. I still think it's really important to have someone who's creative, who can orchestrate it, who can make sure everything is communicating with real people at the end of the day, rather than just pumping out lots of automatic stuff. There is one thing that, sorry to interrupt you, Holly, there, but there was one thing that's, I think, really interesting for people is that social platforms are really increasing their integration with other platforms. For example, Facebook and Shopify are coming together to allow people with their Shopify websites to push those products directly onto Facebook, which is where their audience are. And so actually for some transactions, it might bypass websites altogether. And I think that's going to be a trend going forward in terms of people shopping directly on their social platform, or maybe even shopping from their voice cylinder like Alexa and not touching the website at all, which is quite interesting.
Right. It seems like there's some fusion going on, and they're cutting out the middleman when it comes to marketing.
Yeah, and I do worry about that. I do think that it's important to own your platform. So if you have a brand, you want to own that brand, and you don't want to let Facebook or Instagram or TikTok have control of that where possible. So it's important to have something online that you own. But yeah, absolutely right. It's really interesting.
But those tools definitely sound like they have revolutionized the marketing sector, and I think we might see that go further with new technology like VR, for example. I know for a fact that lots of large companies are now buying up space in, say, the metaverse with the aim of catching attention as an advertising medium. So it's definitely an interesting thing to see.
It is. I think that may become the websites of the future, really. We'll all be having our virtual spaces on in the metaverse. It'd be interesting to see how that works out. Looking at any films around there, like Ready Player One, it's quite a grim future. So let's hope it's not that.
Right. Well, certainly quite a few people see it like that, but nevertheless, it'll be interesting to see just how creative advertising can get as well in these new spaces that we're creating.
Do you know what, with the metaverse, I think for some examples, we're already there. If I look at my children playing Roblox or Minecraft, where they have these 3D environments, they're collaborative, worldwide, people joining in from everywhere, I think we're there already. It's just a case that commerce hasn't fully moved into that section yet, but I think we're there.
That's right. Yeah, definitely quite right there. We are just about there, or on the verge of. Speaking of the future, I'd love to know what we can look forward to seeing from Rather Inventive in the upcoming year and beyond.
Well, we want to grow our club. I'd love to get more people involved in it. I love doing it, and I think it's a great resource for our customers, but I know it can be more valuable. And with the pandemic, I've seen a rush of people wanting to move online. I think it's really pushed a lot of businesses online. Certainly businesses that would traditionally get a lot of walk-in traffic, like restaurants. And I think they really need to move with the times, and it's accelerated that process. And so I've seen a lot of people reaching out. They need help. They need to find better leads and better customers, and they don't know where to turn because there's so much information out there. So I know the resource is valuable to all of those people who are looking to do the right thing online. And I also know it's where I like spending my time, so I know it's the right thing to do for the future. So that's what I want to do. I just want to grow our club and maybe become a YouTuber at the end of the day.
Right. I think that is a natural career progression for you. It looks like, at least, but we'll definitely keep an eye on your expansion, and we look forward to seeing that everything that'll encompass in the upcoming year and beyond.
Thanks, Holly. Good talking to you.
Great speaking with you. Thank you very much for joining us on the show today.
Lovely. My pleasure.
Been a pleasure. That was Ben Kinnaird, the director and founder of Rather Inventive. And if you missed any part of that chat, you can catch the full interview on our YouTube channel at Kalkine Media, and make sure to subscribe as well. I'm Holly Shields, reminding you to stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine.